Report, the Sunday Roundup, and we're coming to you live tonight from Washington. And I'm joined tonight in sort of a political roundtable by Andrew Craig of the Justice Integrity Project here in Washington, and John Edward Hurley, the head of the McClendon Group, which meets at the National Press Club. John, before the break, we were talking about the sorry journalists, and you covered presidential briefings at the White House with Sarah McClendon, who was, I think, covered every president since Franklin Roosevelt. And, of course, you also know Helen Thomas, and she came after, of course, and covered every president since John F. Kennedy. But you've seen how the White House press corps has just become sort of more of a peanut gallery for whatever administration is in power, and you don't hear the tough questions, of course, from the press there any longer.
No, Craig, you earlier on in your show, I'll make a few historical references. I'm getting to be history myself, but I have been around a long time. You mentioned Jack Anderson,
Yes, we played that clip, of course, of Nixon wanting to have him off, yes, Nixon's people.
And he worked for, this is a little insight into that period. We had, there was a fellow by the name of E. Howard Hunt, And
right.
E. Howard Hunt worked for a front company that he called it a PR firm. And it was at six, I think it was called Cummings or something like that, public relations. And it was at 16th and High Street. Right across the AFL-CIO building. And I remember when, he was there, Cummings was there. That's kind of interesting because that's 16th Street. That's where Jack Anderson's office was further up the road. also on 16th Street, which is kind of interesting. And then also 16th Street was Rose O'Neal Greenhow, in the Uncivil War. She was supposed to be the big spy for Washington. And the national security people at that time were standing also on 16th Street amid the columns of St. John's Church, the President's
Church.
Right
across Lafayette Park, right.
Yeah. And Pinkerton and his national security people were looking at everybody and peeping in windows of everybody there to make sure they were not jumping the traces as far as the national security community was concerned. So It's been going on a long time. And then you speed up to my lifetime, and you get up to, people like Helen Thomas and of course, Sarah McClendon. Sarah McClendon started with Stars and Stripes, the Armed Forces publication that's still out of the National Press Building.
Right.
She started, and then she was covering Franklin Roosevelt, and she covered a total of 12 presidents, and then they didn't renew her credentials. She raised irascibility to an art form, as far as asking questions goes, tough questions. And then when she got to George W. Bush, they refused to reissue her press credentials.
Right, so and then of course they followed that sort of line with Helen Thomas several years later, quite recently, and I think that wouldn't you agree that any journalist who goes off the reservation, off the standard script? Now we remember Dan Rather got up. We remember when Nixon was president, and I'll talk about Dan Rather and more right after this short break. This is Wayne Madsen from Washington.